Welcome back to the channel, survivors. Today we're going to be diving back into Ark Survival Ascended, and we're going to be talking about everything you need to know related to the brand new train system that was introduced with Scorched Earth via the Frontier Adventure Pack. If you do not purchase the pack, you will not have the ability to use the train system. Alrighty, so then diving right in, taking a look at the engrams off the bat, we have the train itself, or aka the engine. We have the tracks. We'll go over the different types of tracks that you can place in a second. And then lastly here, you have the train carts that you can attach to the train itself to extend its length and also build on. Okay, so diving into the different track options, let's go over those for a second here. I have every one of them laid out. Starting off with the first one, we have just a straight train track, right? Nothing special, no turns, no loops, no nothing, no ups and downs, just a straight, train track. The next option here, we do have a slight variation. As you can see, it comes off to one side, or you could go straight. The next one, we have the exact same thing, but in reverse. The next one here, we actually have two different, tracks that are going, together, parallel. The next one we have, and this is like a quarter to like half portion of a track, so a little bit smaller piece if you're trying to, not go as far, or, maybe you're trying to bridge two different pieces together. You name it, you can utilize this smaller piece. And then last but not least here for the tracks, we also have a free placement option. So check this out. If we actually swap to the very end, we go to a piece that's already placed here. You can extend it up, down, left, right, you name it. Now keep in mind that where you are looking, your character is looking, it will drastically change the direction of the train tracks placement. It's very finicky, so you just got to make sure you're being careful and where you are looking. And if you're trying to line it up somewhere specific, you might need to, fiddle around with it a while to get exactly the angle, up and down and left and right that you're looking for, but it does have a free place option. Alrighty, so now once you've got some track placed down, it is time to place your train on that track, and you can't put it down in your hotbar. You have to just have it in your inventory and then just walk up to the track, and then you can press on it, and then it should be able to place the train down immediately. Now, there's a couple of things to keep in mind here when it comes to placing your train on the track. So the first thing that's important to understand is that the train can only go one direction, and the train will automatically be placed in that direction, and you cannot swap it. We haven't found a way to, make the train turn around or to go the other direction from where you initially place it. It seems like it can only go in that one specific direction. So you are going to need to probably build some loop-de-loops somewhere, in order for the train to, do a complete turnaround or to go a different direction, or potentially the entire track rail system that you install on your server is probably going to have to be in some sort of like, infinite circle or an infinite loop, so then that way that you can, circle back around to the areas where you first came from. Otherwise, you're just going to simply have to back up the train in reverse to go the other direction. Additionally, at the time of recording this video, it's important to note that resources and, other items do have the ability to pop up in between the train tracks, and it will interfere with the train, moving along the track. You don't want any interference with the train track. You need to make sure that you are building it high enough to avoid those resources, or simply adjusting your resource respawn settings around structures inside of your server's code if you are looking to just have a full through track with no interruptions. Now, another really cool thing is you can actually utilize pillars for the structure integrity for the train track to go across, basically to make these large scale bridges. I have a person on my community server here named Scorched who has actually done this, and look at this really cool example here. The train does have the ability to go all the way across these pillars. The pillars will go straight up and down to the ground, just like if you were building any other structure in Ark, and it does have the ability to run just fine. This again is going to be really handy to know when it comes to placing a track around the entire server. And additionally, it's really important to note that when it comes to driving the train forward or backwards, you do not want to run your train cars into the ending piece of a track. If you guys have stuff built on top of it, it does not matter. If you run that train cart to the end of the track, like, at a full speed, it will damage that cart and potentially destroy it and any of its contents on top of it along with it. So you definitely do want to make sure you're careful when it comes to stopping and driving the train. And last but not least, when it comes to the free build option for the tracks, it's really janky and finicky at the moment, at least at the time of recording this video. Obviously, this could be fixed and manipulated in the future, but as of right now, it is very tough to align multiple pieces of track if you did not place them one after another, snapping them. We've successfully been able to do it a couple of times, but overall, it has just been an absolute nightmare, and the best way that we have found to lay out the tracks currently is just to continuously lay them consecutively, snapping one to another, moving in one direction. Alright, so then now diving into the train itself, alright, when you head over here to the engine portion of the train, it does require fuel to actually run it. If you open up its inventory, you got a couple of slots here in options, but it does require you to place just simply charcoal, a very easy resource. Obviously, you can farm just by burning wood, and sometimes you can even find this by harvesting scorched trees, but you name it, you get a bunch of charcoal, fill up the inventory, and you were all set and ready to go. You just need to push forward, which is the W key on your keyboard if you're on PC, or the left analog stick, and then you can also pull back on the analog stick or press S basically for reverse mode on the train. Keep in mind when it comes to driving it forward or backward and you're trying to either switch directions or come to a halt, there is a slight hesitation animation there, so you just want to make sure you're stopping with an adequate amount of space so you don't damage the train or the carts. Additionally, you could press forward and you can press E to then stop driving the train, and the train will continue to drive in that same direction. And this is something obviously you could take advantage of in certain situations, but unfortunately you could also accidentally do this, and then now you have a runaway train that is going to be tough to catch up to, especially if you have already jumped off the train. And now, in addition to the engine, you can also hook up 5 train cars in a row, and you can obviously utilize the radial wheel here from the train engine to instantly teleport to any of those train cars. You can also detach in any of these train cars, and it will just simply sit on the track where you detached it from, and the same thing goes for hooking it back up to the train. And the instant teleportation from the center of the train cars to the engine and vice versa is really nice. It's a really awesome quality of life feature, and it's going to come in handy when it comes to moving back and forth through the carts versus you having to physically move your character. Now, diving a little bit deeper into the train cars themselves, let's talk about it here. One, they already count as a foundation. You cannot place any foundations on the surface of the train car. However, because it does already count as a foundation, you can automatically snap items to it. So if we go ahead and pull out a wall, you can see I can go ahead and build an entire train car here, just utilizing walls snapping directly to the train car. Additionally, it's important to note that you can make second stories. I don't know how many stories you could go. I assume it's the same structural integrity of a regular foundation. And now, in addition to using the building pieces on the train cars themselves, you can also place a variety of different items. And one of those crazy items that I think is an awesome feature is actually the industrial forge. You can place it on a train car, and yeah, guess what? Utilize it for metal farming. I mean, this makes it way easier to transport large amounts of metal across the map, and also to constantly be forging it at all times. Especially on a PvE community server like my own, this is going to be very handy, and I can't wait to get something like this in working order. And speaking of placing different objects on the train cars, it's important to note that the regular standard auto turret, the tech turret, things like that you would typically use for base defense cannot be placed on the train cars themselves. However, I did actually do some testing here, and I did discover you can actually place 2 of them. You can place the ballista and you can place the catapult turrets. Both of these do actually have the ability to be placed on the train cars currently at the time of recording this video. So I'm not exactly sure how that's going to blow over in a official PvP server, but you name it, you do have the ability to place those 2 items on here, which again is going to be really nice for taming creatures that require some sort of knockout mechanic. And speaking on defenses and weaponry for the train cars, this also does bring me to the point where you can actually put crop plots and plant species X seeds here on the train themselves. So if you are looking to utilize some sort of defense system on your train, potentially on a PvP server, you can still get away with it by utilizing those 2 turret options and the plant species X. In all honesty, I really do love and enjoy the train system, and I can't wait to get a full-on working train in order on my PvE community server. I can 100% understand why PvP players, especially on the official network, would be upset about this making way into the game, because if you simply don't have the money to pay for $30 for the expansion pack, well then you don't have the ability to utilize these trains. And if you're going up against other tribes that do have these trains with all of the defenses and the proper builds and the moving storage and the moving metal farming base, you name it, I definitely think it's going to give players a massive advantage over the other tribes who do not have that option. But anyways, guys, that's going to wrap up everything that you need to know about the train system and what we currently know about the train system. Again, if you're watching this video in the future, then maybe some of this stuff has changed, and if so, drop a comment down below and let me know what your thoughts are. And I also invite anybody watching the video currently at the time of posting it, if there's anything that I've missed that other players would benefit from knowing, also drop a comment down below and let us know your thoughts. Overall, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe here on the channel for everything Ark Survival Ascended related. I do make daily content here on YouTube, and I do live stream Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So if you guys are interested in checking out a live stream or two, you can also follow me on Twitch, and you can find that link down below in the description. With that being said, though, guys, as always, you have a wonderful day, and I will see you all on the next one.